Well, hello everybody! Welcome back to this episode of G-Bear's Off-Grid Ways, a homestead in the desert. And this is going to be part 2 of what things you need if you're going to move off-grid. Do's and don'ts. And I'm speaking from experience and learning a lot about stuff from the School of Hard Knocks. And that's not in Fort Knox. That's Hard Knocks. What we're looking at here in this white bag is an inverter. Now, there are a lot of comments on yesterday's video and a lot of people giving advice. Well, those people giving advice, some of you I know are off-grid already, and some of you haven't gone off-grid yet. So be careful about giving advice to these people that I'm trying to help out here, because you haven't learned from the School of Hard Knocks yet. Now, this inverter. This is, as you can see right there, AC 220 volt, 240 volt. Line 1, line 2, and neutral. Okay, so this will give me 240 volts to go into a circuit panel. And this is what I was working off from the get-go. Here's the lesson I learned. This is a power jack made in China. And it's supposed to be like 18,000 to 32,000 surge. Now, I'm not going to take it out of the bag. There is a video already I made on this thing when I switched it out. But what I didn't see when I got this thing was in fine print right on the front top cover of this thing. It tells you that it's not 8,000 running 32,000 surge. It's not. It says right on it not to go over 2,000 watts. It's a ripoff. That's in fine print. I don't know how they get away with selling this junk. Now, this is supposed to be pure sine wave. I found out it's not. It's dirty sine wave. It's not modified. It's just dirty. And it caused a refrigerator of mine, which was a newer model refrigerator, which has electronics in it and circuit boards, and it caused it to burn out. And I couldn't figure out why the thing burnt out. Well, come to find out from the School of Hard Knocks, cheap junk. Cheap junk. Don't buy cheap junk. Make a plan. Make a plan of the things you're going to need to buy. Write them down. And I'm going to give you some of the best items out there, the best products out there. And those are the ones that I would recommend you take. And trust me, I've used a lot of different products. A lot of this stuff is junk. It's a waste of money. You will find out. What are you doing in here? You got to go outside. Come on, outside. I have to keep the dogs out of here, because if I'm working with power tools and they come up behind me and goose me, I could end up chopping an arm off. So they're not allowed in my workshops. So anyway, here's a controller. All right. Now you guys have seen this controller before. And I thought, wow, wind and solar hybrid system controller, MPPT. Wow, that's great. Okay, lesson learned. Piece of junk, made in China. Okay, it's got solar connections here, and it's got turbine connections here, and this is for a 3-phase turbine. Okay, so why is it junk? Well, you might think, well, I got a wind and solar hybrid, I can hook solar here and I can hook my turbine here, and I only need one controller for both. No, They don't tell you that. Even in the instructions, they don't tell you that. But it's either or. You get either use it for solar or you use it for wind. You can't use it for both at the same time. You can't get separate readouts on the thing here. I'm using it as just a portable MPPT charger for solar to move this battery around when I'm transferring water so I can bring my water pump along. And I use this Harbor Freight 100-watt solar panel. Now, these are the ones I'm telling you. I bought them on sale at $99, $1 a watt. Okay. Now I had to cut the connector off the end of it, and I just used the clips on here because it's portable, and I don't like moving it and having to worry about ripping the wire out of it. But one thing that I did watch on a couple of different videos is people doing reviews and comparing this 100-watt Harbor Freight panel to the 100-watt Renogy panel. And guess what? The 100-watt Harbor Freight panel won. Number one, the Renogy panel uses aluminum wires. Okay, this is copper wire, as you can see right there on the connection. They use copper wire on this. Also on the junction block on the back of it, that's where the diodes are. All the connections inside there are all soldered, whereas on the Renogy, only the the incoming contacts are soldered. The outgoing, the ones that go to the wire, are crimped. So, and they use aluminum wire. So that was from a couple of different videos I watched on the solar panels. Also, when they put the two out in the sun at the same exact angle and the same sun hitting them side by side, they checked the outputs, and Harbor Freight was right on the money for the outputs, what they list on their label. The Renogy was 0.2 under what they claimed it. So again, Harbor Freight won. These are not bad panels, but the reason I say don't go with these things, save your money and buy bigger panels, better panels, because these are little 100 watters. You need 36 of them in order to get up to 3.6 kilowatts or 3,600 watts to run your cabin, your house, or your fifth wheel, or whatever you're going to run. So that's a lot of panels. That means you got to build extra racks to put them on. Now, another thing I learned, and I thought about this way before moving out here, where do you locate your panels? Well, the best place to locate them is like I did, outside on racks. Why? Why not put them on the roof of your cabin or the roof of your RV, or build a roof shade cover and put them on top of there? Why? Well, if you're in a snow area where you're bound to get some snow at certain seasons of the year, you're going to have to climb up there and clean those things off, get the snow off of them so you can get your electricity charging your batteries. And you got to do that in the snow, in the slippery snow. And you could slip and fall off the roof. So, no, putting them on the roof's not a good idea. Mount them on the ground, mount them so that they're just about chest high at the lowest point, and that'll help you very easily clean them. You're going to also want to make sure that you have a squeegee with at least a 6-foot handle on it, so that you can squeegee the snow off. Makes it a little bit easier. Now, there was a question also about how I set the angles for my panels. There are a couple of questions on that. Well, I did have a video out on that. And what I did was I used a sledgehammer, which I can't seem to access right now. It's back there behind that stuff. But I think I can show you with this little pick. This is the other pick where I put the magnet on the handle, and then I heat shrunk a top of a water bottle, plastic water bottle, using a heating gun. I heat shrunk it on there so it protects it from getting black sand stuck all over it, and it fits real tight so I can pull it off of there, but it takes both hands to do that, so I'm not going to do it right now. Okay, so here's the process that I use to set the angle on my panels. Okay, now I did mine 2 times a year, and it's a lot of months in between, but it's worth it if you're going to not want to change the tilt and rotations and things like that over the period of time. All right. So what you're going to have to do is you have to go on the summer solstice, is the first one, or the winter solstice, whichever one you were closest to. And you want to do this exact same thing each time. Okay, so how did I do it? Very simple. I stood my sledgehammer, which actually has a longer handle than this, but it doesn't matter the length of the handle. You can do this with anything as long as you got it standing straight up and down. Now it's past midday, and on solstice you want to go exactly midday, and that doesn't mean 12 noon. That means if the sun comes up at 6 a.m. and sets at 9 p.m., you want to go right in between those, count the number of hours, which is 6 to 2100. So you're going to go, let's see, that would be 15 hours. So you want 7.5 hours after sunrise, which would be 1:30 in the afternoon. All right. And you can set this thing on the ground right close to where you're going to do your panels. Then you need a straight rod or something like that. What you do is you put it on the tip of the shadow right there, and then lean it over to the post. Okay, now that angle right there is the exact angle that you want your panel facing. So this was on an angle of, say, about that much. So I would want my panels facing south at that angle right there. And that'll give you the optimum angle for your panels. Okay, it's very simple. Use the sun and the shadow. Now, when you do that twice, you do it first in the summer solstice, and then again in the winter solstice. And you're going to take those 2 different angles, and you're going to take right in between the 2, wherever the halfway mark of those 2 angles is, and set your panels at that point. And then for both measurements, you've got the center of those 2, and you should be perfect for every day of the year. Well, I won't say perfect, because perfect is actually having a solar tracker to where your panels start in the east and flip over to the west. They follow the sun throughout the day. That is the best way to go, except if you have a lot of panels, that's a big expense, and it's a lot of work setting up the rack that's going to do that rotation for you. And it works on solar, so you're not going to use any of your electricity to do it, but it is going to be a pain in the neck. All right, so that being said, we've got covered. Don't buy junk. Don't buy cheap. Don't say, I'm going to buy this so I can get along for a little while, and then I'll upgrade down the line. No. Save your money, set your sights on a certain item, and then every payday put a little bit of money away until you can buy that one item. Tony and Leanne from Doing Redneck Things Off Grid stated that in the comments from yesterday's video. And I'm sorry yesterday's video didn't get posted till this morning. I sat up until 9:30 at night. That thing was taking forever to upload. I reached a point where I just said the heck with it and went to bed. When I got up in the morning, it was fully uploaded, so then I could post it. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen again today. Anyway, don't buy cheap stuff. Save your money. Have your sights set on a certain item. Buy one item and put it away. Buy another item, put it away. Every payday, you can put a little bit of money away and go towards getting certain items for your specific needs. All right, so I'm going to close off this episode, and any questions or comments, put them down below, and I will try to help you if you have any questions, and then we'll move on to the next thing on the next video. This is G Bear reminding you, thumbs ups, don't forget to share and subscribe, and save. Click save if you want to save this video for future. You won't have to go back through my playlist of thousands of videos and try to find it. All right, this is G Bear signing off.